Let's tie a looped wing dry fly. We have a Tiemco 101 and Uni 17-aught thread in white. Tie the thread in, lay down a good base foundation of thread. Take it to, just above the barb of the hook. I'll create a little bump here, just an extra little bit of thread that'll help lift and separate my coq de leon fibers. These coq de leon fibers are dark and they look pretty good. They've got some barring in them, they taper, just gorgeous, gorgeous fibers, especially for tailing. I need to even them up before I pull them off the stem. I'm a little picky on it too, which fibers I want to use. Trim them down a bit. And tie them in right behind that bump. I'm pulling the fibers so they go up to the top of the hook. And then also I'm adjusting the length. I'll lash it down to the top of the hook. And I'm cutting them off, trimming them off about an eye back from eye's length from the eye of the hook. I stick my finger up and lift those fibers, and then it separates the fibers out for me, so it makes it easier so I can split them up. And I'm just going to figure eight through them. Not quite getting the separation, so I'm going to drop another loop of thread through there. That's better. Now I've had a piece of adding in a goose biot. This happens to be an olive. The notch is facing to the back because I want a smooth body. Now I'm going to take a little bit of time here now and build up the body so I get a little bit of a taper. My aim is for like a carrot shape. I like using the biots because they have a natural segmentation and I get a really, really slim profile. As you can see, I'm building up the thorax area, but leaving quite a bit of room in the front. It's because of where I'm going to nail down my loop wing. I'm going to put my goose biot in my hackle pliers and actually use the rotating feature of my vise. I'm going to overlap so I don't get that fuzzy edge. The first couple wraps are a little hard. It's hard to get that overlap because it's so thin in that area. But as you can see, the rest of it though gives us that pronounced segmentation because of the coloring and the banding and no fuzz. I'm going to tie off and trim my biot now. Another good alternative material to use for the abdomen is a strip peacock quill. Tie off my goose biot. What I have here now are about 10 to a dozen floral fiber strands. And I'm going to use that as a post as well as my loop wing. I'm just trimming off the excess. Now I'm going to take my done hackle, this is done hackle size for this hook, and I'm going to strip off quite a bit of the front portion of this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bottom portion of it to tie in the feather, but that rest of that bare stem, that's going to be, along with my floral fiber, that's going to be the post. So I hook both the floral fiber as well as the hackle to my gallows tool. And what I'm going to do is take my thread and wrap it around the base and create a post. That post gives me a good thing to wrap my hackle around. Now I'm just going to wrap my hackle around, starting from the top of that post and working down. Now each successive wrap should go underneath the prior wrap. Now I'm going to tie off that hackle. Tying right behind the eye. Trim off my hackle. I'm going to draw up a couple of half hitches. Yeah, I know I could use my whip finisher, but I'm not as good at that as I am with the, it's just easier for me with the half hitch tool. I broke my thread there, but I'd already gotten some of those down, so I just go back in. I've got an extra spool sitting close by, and then just go back in and tie in my thread. Now what I'm going to do is take my loop. I'm just trimming off extra fibers that I had trapped. Now I take my floral fibers and pull them over around the eye and tie them off at the eye. Or not really tie off, I just wrap about 3 times, 2 or 3 times. Then I take my bodkin, and where I pulled it down, I pull up the floral fibers. That's how I create my loop wing. It twisted on me a bit, but no big deal. You just twist it back to where you want it. There you go, that's better. And trim off my excess floral fibers. I'm going to trim it first, and then I'm going to go back in and whip finish it. And then trim off my excess. There we go. Got the wing straightened out. Touch up a little bit. An olive marker. That is my looped wing dry.